This is TwoToolsCooking.com. I'm with Deborah from Mars Chocolate, and Deborah's working very hard on a piece of stone, and it's not guacamole making. So, Deborah, tell me about a little bit about what you're doing.
So this is called a metate. It's from Mexico, and it's a way they used to make chocolate in colonial times.
Okay.
So in colonial times, they'd make chocolate in their own kitchens.
Okay.
They could make like 2 to 3 pounds of chocolate in one day.
Wow.
What I have on here are cocoa nibs, and cocoa nibs are actually the heart of the cocoa bean. The nibs have been fermented in the field and roasted, and then they're winnowed, like the shell is taken off. So it's the very heart of the bean. The cocoa beans are about 50% fat, so they're solid now, but if you put them on here with heat and you grind them up, you can see that it disappears pretty quickly.
Wow.
And that's because by grinding, you're releasing the fat and making the particle size smaller.
Where's the heat coming from? Just friction, or?
Well, it's heated underneath the metate. You can see there's a flame under there.
Okay.
And also, it releases the fat, and then the fat gets warm, and that's what makes it look like a liquid.
Is this the point where you mix other ingredients into it?
Yeah, so in colonial times, what they would do is mix spices in it. So they'd mix some spices in it, they'd put a little bit of sugar. This is how they used sugar in colonial times. It's more of a cake because it was very expensive back then. So they'd nip some off, put it on here with the chocolate liquor. They'd put their own special blend of spices, whatever that would be. At Mars, for our division here, we have a special blend that's an authentic colonial recipe that we've looked at historically.
Okay.
So the spices go on here, the sugar goes on here, and it gets all ground up.
Wow. It's amazing because you sort of think of it being as a very processed item, but all in all, it's something that you can probably do by hand. I mean, you're clearly doing it.
Yeah, clearly. You can do that by hand if you're in your own kitchen with the metate.
Wow. So you need like massive biceps, or?
Well, I think I'm getting a little buff by doing this today. It's tough work. My fingers are getting
I can imagine, but it's great to go home smelling like chocolate, though.
Oh yeah, my dog loves me. So then after we do this process, it turns into a solid like this at room temperature when it cools off again.
Okay.
And we make it into bars. Oh, you have the grain. But somebody will. It turns into bars, and in colonial times, this would stay on the shelf. This is good for like 6 to 12 months. You can keep this in your pantry, right?
In room temperature, just
room temperature, as long as it doesn't get too warm, you can grind it up and make it into a powder when you're ready to consume it. And then you put that powder, this is an authentic chocolate pot. You put the powder into the pot with water, put it on the stove, warm it up, and you actually froth it like this, and your drink is made.
Wow. So now Mars isn't something typically I would expect to produce something sort of very artisanal. So what's the story behind Mars? I mean, I would think chocolate bars and sort of generic, supermarket candy.
So Mars is a privately owned company, and we believe that there's a lack of chocolate knowledge from the colonial period.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is bridge that knowledge to current day so people understand the role that chocolate played in the colonial times.
That's great.
Yeah, because it was actually, like soldiers, like in the field, they would eat chocolate sticks similar to something like this.
They would just eat it like that?
Yeah, for energy, right? They'd eat the chocolate, they'd have the chocolate drink, but they'd do this because chocolate's actually high in nutritional value. Right? It gives you a lot of energy, so in the field it's the perfect thing to eat.
That's great, and there's no refrigeration needed, so it travels well.
It's shelf-stable because, chocolate doesn't have a lot of moisture in it, so it stays for a long period of time. Even if it melts, you can just break it apart and still eat it.
That's great. Now, I tried one of those chocolate drinks. They were amazing.
Yeah, you need to try the cocoa drink.
The recipe must be like a historic recipe itself.
It's a historic colonial recipe that we've done a lot of research on.
So where would we be able to get your product?
So the products you can get in Williamsburg, like historic site, Williamsburg, Fort Ticonderoga.
Okay, is there a website or something we can go to?
I can give you the recipe card has some listings on it of where you can purchase our chocolates, and we have some right here.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. Have a good day.
You're welcome.